Right. So the Phoenix Suns are 8-6. They're coming off, I think, one of the worst losses that they've had. I think they gave up like a 20-6 run to end the game last night, or 2 nights ago, I should say. But regardless of that, I've been really encouraged by this team and just the structure and the foundation that they are building for not just this season but for the coming seasons. And especially because of how many new faces there are, from the new players that they traded for, from getting over that, the Durant and the Beal era, to bringing in the new coach. There's so much to be encouraged by this team, which I'm really happy about. And I think firstly, you have to start with Devin Booker. Devin Booker for me is one of the most interesting, but also the most what can I say? He's one of the coolest superstars that we have in the league. I think that the way that he plays, the way that he approaches the game is very unique for someone who is a supermax player. This season he's averaging 28 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. And by all metrics, this is him. These are personal bests in he's averaging the most points per game, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage through obviously this is through the first 11 games, but he's averaging highs in almost all of these things. And I think that his ability to always bring the best out of himself for when the team needs, and the way that he approaches the game, especially one of my favorite quotes by him is the "I'll do it." They'll do it when they went to the the Olympics or something. That has always been Booker's like identity as a player and as a superstar. That is very very interesting. It's very nice to see, and also I really love players who stay on one team. Players who stay on one team who don't like ask for trades or anything, or like who are one team players. I always find them very cool to see. I think they have a really cool. They have a very soft spot for them, honestly. But yeah, man, his play style is very aesthetically pleasing. He has a very cool play style in terms of like being a mid range killer. I think this season he's averaging close to like 50% from the mid range, and so he's constantly getting to that mid range, getting off screens, moving to that area. And I think that is such a just watching him is very it's just really nice to see. Um, and then he's also he's averaging a 33% usage rate, which is obviously on the higher side. But I think with that as well, it's never like his playstyle never. When you watch the game, it doesn't feel that much, and I say that because like when you watch the game, he doesn't feel like he's imposing himself on making sure that everyone has to get to the corner and he's just pounding the rock. A lot of times he's actually a lot of possessions he's allowing people like Colin Gillespie, he's allowing what's his name, Grayson Allen to move to touch the ball. So it's very interesting, and it's very interesting to see how he's not like imposing. His game isn't imposing. I think that's one of like the coolest aspects of his game, is that it doesn't feel like everything has to cater to him. He's able to play and allow each and every player to use the ball and to allow them to shine as well, which I really really love as well. Um, yeah, and then obviously with the way that he is his distribution as well, and his work as a playmaker, that's another thing that has really improved. And coming off, I read a stat where like in his first 4 seasons he averaged what? He averaged less than 5 assists a game in his first 4 seasons, and in the seasons after that he's been averaging above 6 assists every game. And I think that just says a lot about his growth as a player and his IQ in terms of like growing and his development. I think that is very easy for especially scorers to just be scorers in terms of like Carmelo Anthony, Kobe Bryant, and all of that, where when scorers are scorers, they just remain scorers. But Devin Booker has put a lot of effort into opening his game up and making sure that he's not just that, but he's also a playmaker, which I really, really love. And right now, obviously, he's still 11 games, but he's averaging 7 assists, which says a lot about him as well. And another thing that I think highlights the 7 assists as well is that this team is very balanced. This is a team that we've moved away from the big three era. Now this team is a very balanced team. We're looking at one of my favorite players, but like players that are highlighting this is like Dylan Brooks. bringing in someone like Dylan Brooks, who just like brings a defensive intensity, who's a culture setter, someone who is coming off a 30-point game, and someone who, even when you watch that game, there's so many plays where only Dylan Brooks can make that play. The play to getting those rebounds, getting those scrappy getting to the free throw, getting those what is it, the layups. They're just plays in the game where even on defense, where it's like, man, only Dylan Brooks could have made that play, and I really love that. I really love that for him, man. And what I appreciate about Dylan Brooks is that as a player, he has a way of influencing and impacting the team around him, where the rotation, where when he's on the floor, there's a defensive energy that he brings that everyone starts to like buy into. And it's like, you see, there was a play in that game where Ryan Dunn saved the ball, and he got Colin Gillespie like a free layup. And there were plays like that where, because Dylan Brooks was on the floor, you felt that players put in that extra effort because of him, and because of they see his intensity. And I think that says a lot about people like him. And yeah, then someone like Mark Williams as well, who, for Mark Williams as a center, he has been averaging, I think, close like a double-double for the past couple of games. And one of the things about him is that for him, it's never going to be about his talent or his talent or his skill. It's never going to be about that. But if this team can continue to just like, if Mark Williams as a player has gotten over that injury stuff, I think that he has a very real chance of being like a top 15, top 20 center in the league. I think he has that much talent, and I think that his energy around the rim and his ability to like generate those rebounds, but also like his screens for Booker and making him open, I think it just opens up so much for this team. And yeah, their center, if he can definitely lock down that center position for a really long time. And then obviously, even like going beyond that, Ryan Dunn, who continuously makes plays on both sides of the court and is still growing as a player. And then you have Grayson Allen, who at 31 years old, this is very interesting, obviously coming off shooting 10 threes, which was really cool. But at 31 years old, he's averaging 10.3 drives per game. For someone who is 31 years old, before the season, he was averaging 5. So for him to get to 10 is so cool to see. It is really, really cool to see a player re-energized like Grayson Allen, whom I think that his ability to shoot the three, and if this can just be consistent throughout the season, it's just going to open up this team more. And I think it just adds to the energy and the positive foundations that are being laid for this team in terms of just maintaining that intensity and competitiveness throughout the rotation. And then Jordan Goodwin as well. Shout out to Jordan Goodwin as well. I really appreciate, he's been shooting the ball really well, and I appreciate his boost from the bench. I've been enjoying watching him. And then obviously a key part of this season has been Jordan Ott. Being a first-time head coach, I think is one of the hardest things, because you're first of all trying to identify who you are as a coach, but also coming into a team where the last 2 head coaches have come in with a lot of I would say star power. Frank Vogel and Mike Budenholzer were coming off championships. They had that championship pedigree, and so for him, I've really appreciated his ability to instantly instill that intensity and the identity for this team, and instilling that culture has been really, really cool to see for Jordan Ott. And I think especially for a lot of people as well, I think that game against Wemby, where they schemed, where they implemented that defensive scheme against him, I think it showed a lot about who Jordan Ott as a coach is, and I think that was really, really cool to see. And then yeah, just his ability. And I think that for a team that is growing and a team that is still early in its rebuild, honestly, which is interesting, but which is early in its rebuild, sort of rebuild, I think you finally have a coach who I feel is going to be stable and will move you forward for such a long time. And for a team, this team was only expected to win 30.5 games to start the season. And at this point right now, they are projected to win close to 50 games. I think it was like 48 or 49. I think that says a lot about the foundations that they're building. And when this team wants to go and find Devin Booker a running mate, I feel more confident in the what is it, the structure and the foundations around that when they do go and find that running mate, whoever that may be, you hope that they won't make the same mistake that they that they did before, where they just got the big three and it was just like convoluted and it just didn't work. And you hope that they are the lessons that they're going to learn from that are going to bring a lot more positive results, because right now they are moving in the right direction towards becoming a winning basketball team, and they have the coach, they have the player, they have the role players right now. So let's hope. I'm okay. Not. I'm very encouraged. Even if they don't win, even if that's projecting the future, even now, I'm very encouraged by what they are doing and what they are building, and I'm very happy to see what they're doing. They're a very fun team to watch. This next few games are going to be really interesting. I think that these next few games are going to be really interesting because this week they're going to be playing against 4 teams who are over 500 and who are playoff teams. So I'm very encouraged to see what they can do. And I think regardless of what they can, of what happens, I think this is going to provide a temperature check for this team. But I think that the most important thing that I see is that they're going to be competitive. That's one thing I see. They're going to be competitive regardless of if they win or lose. I'm very confident in that. And for a team which is only projected to win 30 games, being competitive is a very good sign for me to see. Yeah.